Welcome to the Tourism AI podcast, where we talk about all things at the intersection of artificial intelligence and tourism. Today, I'm excited because we are talking to our good friend Gerardo here about really the third conversation in our series on AI adoption for DMOs. And we sort of talked a little bit in the past about some of the barriers, some of the challenges, some of the perceptions of AI from a DMO perspective. And today we're really going to kind of really grill Gerardo here. We're going to pretend that we're actually going through a process here of working through an AI adoption strategy and working through understanding New Westminster tourism from a AI readiness perspective, because these are the types of conversations that we have with DMOs, with tourism operators. And so I think we thought it would be fun to go through the process, to ask some questions, to give our audience a bit of a sense of the types of things that you need to be thinking about for your organization to get AI ready. With that, I think hopefully you know Gerardo here now, but if you don't, why don't you just take a quick second and reintroduce yourself to our audience and tell everybody where you're from.
Absolutely. Thank you, Peter. So happy to be here. Gerardo Corro, Executive Director for Tourism New West. I've been on this position for almost 3 years now, and we have been transitioning from a not very active organization into one of the leading organizations in town regarding economic development, of course, tourism and other activities. And AI has been hitting hard in the past few years as we took over. So we know that there are different approaches to it. The one that we have decided to take is exploring, understanding with caution. Being cautious because we know there are some concerns around the arts and culture community, around potential people losing jobs and all that. So we keep all that in mind, but at the same time, we know that there are great tools, great opportunities for us to expand our capacity. And we are growing in that aspect. No one has lost their jobs. We don't plan to let anyone go. As opposed to that, we're planning to grow together to expand our capacities and make AI this great tool that will take the existing team, the existing knowledge, and make it more powerful. So that's what we've been doing. And we have found in the Tourism AI Network a great partner to go through that pathway, because we are, of course, not experts in AI. We are learning as we go. But it's very interesting to have an organization like you guys that can help trace the path, so we don't lose time in all the distractions out there in the world, because there are so many options right now. It's hard to understand how to adopt it responsibly and what to choose.
Exactly. All right. Perfect. Well, with that, thank you. And I just want to make a quick comment about job loss, because I've been thinking about that topic a lot. And I think that there's a lot of fear out there. And I think that at least for the short term, people should think about job restructuring and sort of task restructuring specifically. And we'll talk about tasks a little bit today. I actually personally think in the tourism industry, there's going to be no job loss because we have not enough people to do the work. So I actually think AI is a huge solution to actually a problem in the tourism industry. I'm not going to speak to other industries, but I think we're in good shape, and especially tourism is a people-oriented business and industry. And so for me, I always like to tell people hopefully it'll give us humans more time to spend time with humans and to provide good, authentic human experiences. Gerardo, can you first of all, maybe tell me a little bit about, your team, how big is it is, and then how your responsibilities are divided amongst your team members around some of the core services that you offer.
Of course. So when I first took over, it was me and a part-time marketing coordinator. We have grown a little bit. So now we have a full-time marketing manager, myself as director, and a part-time visitor experience coordinator. So that's it. We're 2.5. We honestly need like 40 people. So we have been relying a lot on the help of interns from educational institutions that we have partnered with, a lot of volunteering from the community, and that's never enough, And so what we do here, we have 3 main areas of responsibility, or our mandate lays on 3 areas. So the first one is destination development. That means making the destination better for visitors, for residents, for the tourism industry. So collaborating with partners and building together. The second one is marketing the destination so we can attract more people to come and visit and spend more time, spend more money in New Westminster. At the same time, that also includes, it's not written, but it's part of what we do, retaining the local money. So it's getting visitors from outside, but also keeping people interested in doing things in their own town. So that's the other part. And finally, or not finally, but the third one, the third big one is visitor services. So first we develop the destination. We have a place that is worth visiting, that has all the services, all the products, experiences, and we keep growing that part. Second, we market it. So we bring people in and we retain people. And third one, we make sure that the people who are in town are having a good time. They have enough information, finding, and calendars in person. So that's part of the things you were mentioning. So the human
Yeah.
part of it, in person help, so we can guide them through the destination with the same goal of, yes, helping them have a great time, but at the same time motivating them to stay for longer, do more, and spend more in a sustainable way. So they respect the destination, they enhance whatever we have, and they add value to the city.
Amazing. Yeah. And I'll add one more part of your job, which is administration and reporting, which I know is a huge part of every destination's job. That is the sort of silent part in the back, but is a huge task for everybody, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That doesn't appear in the mandate,
Yes.
but it's a huge part of what we do. So the mandate
Yeah.
are those three things, but
Yeah.
we also do training. We do a lot of planning
Yeah.
for operations, planning for communications, planning for marketing. But this part of destination development is also including a lot of communications with our partners. How do we touch base? How do we put something together? We need to have a lot of understanding, not only of the hospitality and tourism industry, but also on how the individual businesses in the
Yeah.
industry work, operate, what's the business model, so we can incorporate them into our strategy. How do we analyze the competitors? Because it's a
Hmm.
very competitive world, and we are competing with even with our friends next door at the other destinations around us. We do collaborate a lot, but at the same time, we need to understand what's happening with them so we can utilize that data, generate it, and then understand it, and then use that to create new strategies. So,
Yeah.
and of course, all the administration and the fun part, the reporting, that only takes months of the year to report
Yeah.
for all the, I mean, we are grateful that we receive funds from federal government, provincial government, municipal government, sometimes other grants, but all that requires reporting, which is
Hmm.
logical and understandable because people want to know what's happening with the money they're giving away. But all that reporting takes a lot of time. And many times this is very something that could be standardized.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, I just think about everything you just described, how much work that is for 2.5 people plus some volunteers and
Yeah.
whatever. It's crazy, right? So to the point of the first conversation or the first way we open this up, it's like you desperately need the help in any way you can get it, whether it's humans or technology or whatever. And so, a lot of this I think is just even ways to just streamline some of that workload, make it easier, take some of the lift off so you can actually spend more of that time focused on your three key priorities, which are really, really important. So with that, I want to talk about, so the first thing we always talk about when we talk to destinations about AI adoption and AI kind of strategy is actually what technology you're using today. So can you walk me through your tech stack? And let's start off at the very highest level. Are you a Google company or a Microsoft company? That's usually one of the first questions
So
I ask.
we're a bit of both
Okay.
because I took over and they were already into the Microsoft realm, but I personally use Google more. So I've been doing a little bit of both. So I have right now I have in my desk two computers. Not that I have to, but I have my
Yeah.
personal computer that lives on the Google world, and then I have the work computer that lives on Microsoft.
Okay.
So we do a bit of both. I understand both, but it's mostly Microsoft. So Outlook and all that. We have also incorporated different technologies. So we have a chatbot that we constantly train and we prompt and we educate as we go. That lives on the website, the tourism website. We have the paid version for ChatGPT that we constantly use, not to talk on our behalf, not to speak on our behalf, but to structure what we want to say and also to analyze a lot of the things that we are constantly working with, brainstorming. So it helps a lot on that. We do some content creation with the help of different platforms. Experience I recently started using what's the name? It's gonna come back to me. Video creating platform from word to video. We pay the 1 year membership, and after an hour of using it, we understood that it was useless. Like that one was a very poor choice, at least for us.
Yeah.
So we canceled it. We luckily we received a refund, but That's the thing. Like we have so many needs, but we don't always know which platform is the best for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And then diving a little bit deeper into your technology stack. So, do you guys have, for example, can you tell us a little about your website? What is it built on? What's your CMS? Do you have a CRM? Do you guys have any like what is your accounting software? So just kind of give me a bit of a flavor for your
Yeah.
full stack
So
across the.
website is works on WordPress.
Yeah.
So the CRM that we use, or the way we track our followers, people who are opening our newsletter and other ways to connect with our audience, is through Activity Messenger. So we use that for the mailing and for sorting the information. Then for accounting, we company we work with uses a platform called Dext.
Oh yeah.
It's great. Like you actually take the picture of any receipt you have, and it just goes automatically into the system. And then you just input some information, and you have your books in order very quickly. So that's actually, it saves so much time as compared to like maybe going to QuickBooks, which is great, but then you have to be inputting everything, and then um, we also have one called Uncat. So at the end of every month, we can see if there are any transactions that were uncategorized. So we can go and look for the receipt in our wallet or on the drawers. Like, what happened to this transaction that was not registered, or
Right.
that was not documented? So we can
Yeah.
go back and do that. So yeah, we use it for accounting. We use it for CRM and for the management of our clients.
Hmm.
We use it for a little bit of content creation. So it's a lot of the captions on the reels, for example, like very simple things.
Yeah.
So it's all well structured. We do use it for emails. So not to write the emails for us, but to make them look nicer. So and it's also faster, than having to, like, sometimes it's funny. I was looking at a meme the other day. It gave the example of this person wanting to write a very elaborate email. So it was talking to an AI assistant and asked to make this simple idea more elaborated. So the AI created a very long and very nice email. And then it was received by another person who saw it and thought it was too long. So it went to the AI assistant and requested to make it simple. So they didn't have
That's
to go
funny.
through the whole thing. And it went back to the same basic idea. So that could happen. We try
Hmm.
we try to avoid that, just like overwording things and just actually doing it the other way around, keeping it simpler, because
Hmm.
sometimes we could go around an idea and just go around it. So just to take it down to earth and be able to communicate better.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so, and would you say in terms of your technology stack and your current systems, things are well integrated, things are talking together, or is it all sort of fairly disconnected and there's a lot of human intervention to kind of, sort of take information from one, put it into the other?
Yeah, no, it's all over the place. So think of it as building with different floors, different rooms, and different things are happening on each apartment. It would be great if it was all connected.
Yeah, yeah. And then are you feeling like your technology is working well for you, or are there any limitations? Is there anything as you wish you, like it would do better for you?
It's working well, but I don't think we are really taking the advantage of the whole thing. We
Yeah,
could do much more. So
yeah.
even though we have the spirit of adopting AI and adopting technology in general and tools and understanding them, and we've talked about the AI Thursdays where we go and explore new platforms as a team, and it could be about anything. We have that mindset. We want to do it, but we still feel that we're very far from where we could be.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And so I always start with conversations and questions around technology stack and the reason for that is because, one of the biggest challenges with any kind of technology adoption, AI included, is getting people to do new things, new habits, changing the way they work, all of that kind of stuff. So to me, the solutions are actually better utilization of your current technology stack and actually maybe seeing where there's opportunities for integration in the back end of the tech tools you're using, right?
Mhm.
So that is why we kind of start with that, because really that's core foundational understanding. Because then when we can get to your pain points, which we're going to talk about next, we can now start to bridge. Okay, well, you're using these technologies and you're not using them to their full advantage. Did you know you can connect these three things in the back end and you can integrate and automate these things? And so And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I think a lot of people think about AI often as, oh, the AI is just going to do my work for me. And they don't really realize that the opportunity now is just a lot of integration and a lot of sort of connecting tools together more intelligently than we were able to just a year and a half ago. And there's a lot of unlock and magic that can happen if we do that, right? And so that's kind of, why I'm sort of going down this path with you, because it really starts off with what technology are you using today and how can we use it better, right? And so with that, in terms of your pain points and operational pressures, what would you say are the biggest time drains for you currently, like repetitive tasks, tedious tasks, things that take up a lot of time that you think can be streamlined? What do you think those opportunities are?
Well, definitely reporting. That's like probably the biggest one that it's necessary. It's worth doing it, but could be much simpler if all the information could live in one place, and then
Hmm.
an AI system that is intelligent enough to understand what we are doing and the impact it has on the goals for the organizations that are supporting us financially could generate those reports according to the standards that are required.
Yeah.
That would be very, very helpful. We could save, I don't know, 10% of the year could go on that. We also receive a bunch of emails that are about generic stuff, but we still take time to read them, and I read everything that I receive just in case it's something important. I dedicate time to any person in the community that wants to connect, that wants to have a meeting, that wants to bring an idea or to know what we're doing. Because I think as a public organization we should do it. But that means that I'm also taking a lot of time just going through emails, for example.
Right.
So maybe those two are the biggest ones.
Yeah, yeah. Those are huge, huge time sucks for a
Yeah.
lot of people, right? So 100%, yeah. And then if are the things that you feel like are following through the cracks or things that maybe like if you had more time in the day you wish you could get to? Like is there sort of a list of things in your mind of things that would be like, man, if I could just get to that? Do you have a bit of a sense of what that would look like for you?
Yeah. So one of the big things that I do and that we do as a destination management organization is this part of developing the destination. So we could connect a lot more one on one with our partners, with the existing companies, existing entrepreneurs, to help them create and develop better products, better
Hmm.
experiences. So we're doing it, but we could be doing much more of that if we had the time to do it. Right now, I have a list of ideas and potential projects to develop that is probably 25 pages
Right.
of individual lines, and I'm always like, okay, I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good one. And if I think about the value of a destination that provides to a community, I think that's number one on the list, right? I mean, obviously marketing is important, but developing the destination is like before marketing, right? And so,
And
yeah.
there's this huge challenge because as a destination management slash marketing organization, we one example, I'm teaching right now destination marketing and management for bachelor in tourism and hospitality. And one of the things that I was exactly explaining last week is that we as DMOs, we don't really control. If you think about the 4 P's of marketing or 7 P's of marketing or 12, depending on who you ask. But let's stick with the main 4. So we have price, product, place and people. So sorry, and promotion.
Promotion. Okay. Yeah.
People
Promotion.
is
Yeah.
from the 7. So price,
Yeah.
product, place, and promotion.
Yeah.
So the only one where we have a huge influence as a DMO is promotion. It's the only one where we can decide what the strategy is and build it and have others working around it. We cannot control the product. We can influence the product. We cannot control the prices of the products of the destination. We can influence them and we can provide advice, but it's not up to us. And the place, well, we're here. It is
Right.
what it is, right?
Yeah.
So when we get to work with other partners in the destination in influencing the way they are part of this destination product, we can do much more, but it's not up to us. So sometimes, as I was saying earlier, we need to understand each individual business, how they work, and how we can better incorporate them into the overall strategy.
Hmm.
Right now, we have Tourism New Westminster as the example, but you're going to have many different profiles of leaders of the DMOs. So probably most of us are going to be coming from already the tourism industry or the hospitality and services industries, but not always having a good understanding of how a destination works and how all those businesses work. So we have sometimes people coming mostly from the government side. So with an
Mhm.
economic development mindset, which is great, but maybe they have never really worked at business.
Right. Yeah.
Or people coming straight from hotels. So they're looking completely at the sales part of it and rooms and numbers. And so that's very effective, but maybe they don't understand the whole organizational aspect of it, which the government person could bring into the table.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I believe AI could help filling in all those missing parts of the puzzle.
Yeah, no, that's a really, I think that's really true. And you can't say this maybe, but I can. But I've worked in government and I've now run a business for many years. And I can tell you people that work in government have never run a business, really have no idea what happens on the ground every single day and what it's like and what, the pressures and pain points and the multiple priorities. And it's just such a different world. They could not be so more different. And so to your point is, bringing those perspectives together and making people understand each other better
Yeah,
could
yeah,
actually lead to better outcomes on both ends, right?
yeah.
And I think the glue is potentially the DMO, but I think the sort of catalyst to actually make that happen in a meaningful way could be AI, right? And so I think that's a very good insight there. So going kind of back to some of those pain points, I'm going to ask you one more question around this is just in terms of your marketing is a big component of what you guys do. How does that process feel for you? Is it streamlined? Do you feel like the tools you have are working for you? Do you think there's room for improvement there? Because that's usually like the easiest low hanging fruit kind of area for AI as a starting point from an educational perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me kind of, not on a scale of 1 to 10, but tell me how you feel like it's working and whether there's room for improvement.
So we're doing a great job in the marketing side of things. We have a great team. Our market manager is amazing, and we have a good strategy that is working. Nevertheless, I think that we dedicate too much time to putting
Mm,
together those strategies, to creating the content that is curated and handmade, and those videos that we make, those reels, all the content is made in house, as opposed to what other destinations do that they have maybe bigger budgets and they would go to agencies. So we produce everything here. Sometimes we contract some of the services, but we are always behind the camera, behind the scenes. We like doing everything. The script comes from our office, and then we just have the fortune of connecting with very good videographers that get our ideas and turn them into a reality. But all that takes time, takes money, and at the same time, we're limited. We have so many things that we would like to be doing that we can't because we would need to hire a huge team, a huge production company, film company. So it's in the content creation part that we feel that we would like to be doing more. Not too much in the how to do it.
right.
We know how to do it. We said in the past episode, like we know what needs to be done. We just
Yeah.
lack the resources.
Yeah. Nice. That's perfect. Yeah. And there's definitely some tools available in the AI kind of realm that can help you certainly streamline some of those processes, make it a little faster, get to prototype quicker so that, you know what I mean? And it's like, like that's to me an example, a really good example of where AI is very helpful. Get to something visual that you can look at quickly to say, yeah, we've nailed it. And then actually get the design team or the video team or whatever to actually like finish it and produce it and create it. But getting quicker processes, you know what I mean, it really helps a lot. Yeah, so that's awesome.
We have used AI to create the storyline, for example,
Yeah,
not the final piece,
yeah,
the storyline. So those ideas can be prompted into the AI, so
yeah.
we can have a visual and we can have a better structured showcase of those ideas. So when we get together with our contracted videographers or people helping us on that, it's much easier to communicate the idea because if it looks
Exactly.
the way we're envisioning it, it's better. It's much easier to show it, and then whenever they go out there and produce it, they are going to be following that inspiration that we originally had.
That's a great example use case of speeding up a process without necessarily replacing anybody's job or work,
Yeah.
but just getting quicker to that proof of concept or that vision so that there's less back and forth communication and you just nail it the first time or maybe with one edit type of thing, right? So that's a great example.
Also,
So I
also
want
we
to
have.
talk
Oh, sorry.
Go
So
ahead.
just one quick thing. Also, we haven't really tried creating AI videos. I mean, we have tried, but not posted them, just as an experiment
Right.
and for fun. Uh, we still think that at least the ones that we have explored creating don't look natural enough.
Right.
And I think some things some things just need to be communicated in a more realistic and real way. So it's in the creative process that we're using those tools, but not in the final product. We're not against it, but I don't think we're there yet. And again, it wouldn't be to replace what we're doing with real people, with real jobs and real
Yeah.
companies, but more
Yeah.
to be able to do more.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes we create small pieces of content that are just we're just playing around. When you could just post something that I don't know, you used a filter and posted a picture. So that's AI. And
Sure
that's
it
a
is.
simple thing. And maybe you are not going to go to a photo studio to create because you don't have the money, the time, or really the intention of making that big. Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
playing a little bit.
Yep.
So there's where we are planning to integrate it in the short term,
Mhm.
but we're open to exploring anything in the future.
Yeah. I have some tool ideas for you that I can share with you as a follow-up. But there are definitely some tools that can help also, because there's also just a pure AI video versus taking clips from humans and other things and background and just having AI help put it together
Yeah.
more efficiently and effectively, and then having a human come in and fine tune and make it perfect. So again, that's just a process speed up as opposed to just an AI making a video from beginning to end. That's a completely different scope of work and a completely different type of video, which I agree with you. I don't think any DMO should be necessarily going down that path, at least not for now, because the technology is not there yet, and it's very obvious if that's what's created, right? So I want to change gears a little bit here and talk about another important topic when it comes to AI adoption, which is data and insights, and the kind of all of the stuff that actually powers AI to make it useful. And so, tell me a little bit about the data you're collecting currently as an organization, either about your visitors or your stakeholders or your visitor center, whatever, wherever you're getting that data from. Can you give me a sense of where it comes from and what it looks like?
Yes. So when we started, the data we had was close to zero. So we have been putting together a few strategies and gathering platforms for that data. We are currently just gathering data from three main sources. So source one is the visitor center and visitor kiosk. Every person that comes to us, we track them, where they're coming from, what they are asking, what their needs are, for how long they're staying in New West. But that's very limited because it's only the people going to the kiosk. So it could be anything. We do a similar thing at events. So whenever we are present at events with our booth, or we're sponsoring events, we try to send someone there to collect a big enough sample of the people attending the event so we can understand who's attending, where are they coming from, if that event is generating actual tourism or it's only the local residents going to the event, which is also nice. But we try to understand where they from, what's their motivation, more of that. Then we have hotels. So from hotels, it's hard. So the challenge that we have there, and I don't think probably AI cannot help with that one in particular, is that not all hotels want to share their information.
Mhm.
So if you don't have the same data coming from the different sources on a single category, which is hotels in this case, you cannot really have data that is valuable because you could have all the information from one hotel out of 4 or 5. But if the other ones are not reporting, you
Mhm.
cannot really tell how representative that one is. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, you could always compare apples with apples, and
Sure.
as long as always keep the same measurement, could give you an idea of what's happening, but it won't be very representative. So we have narrowed it down to just a few variables, which is the occupancy rate. So out of all the rooms available in the destination, how many are being sold per period of time, which is monthly. Then we are also trying to get ADR, which is average daily rate. So all those rooms that are being sold, what's the average price that they're being sold for?
Mhm.
And finally, a very particular one that not every DMO would use, but in our case, we receive the MRDT, which is a municipal regional district tax, also known as a hotel tax. So whenever people stay in the hotels in New Westminster on a short stay, they would pay a 3% more. That's collected by the province, by the Ministry of Finance, and then minus a fee, it's paid to us. and we use that money as the biggest source of funding that we have. But there's been a challenge because there's not a lot of transparency on who pays, when, how much, if they have paid in time or not. So the challenge there is that sometimes we receive amounts that don't really match what we were expecting. So we're trying to run an audit on what's happening with that money. Not that we distrust anyone, but we want to understand it better. So
Yeah.
hotels have been helping us with that information by sharing how much they are paying into the MRDT every month. And we're trying to generate at least 1 year of data on that. So we can see how this is correlating with the money we're receiving and see if it matches, or if it
Mhm.
doesn't, trying to understand why. So those are the
Yeah.
three main sources of data from hotels. We would like to have way more, but
Yeah.
the thing is that not all the hotels are willing to share that information.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll make a comment. Maybe that's a little political, but they sure are willing to share all of their data and information with Expedia and all of these online travel agencies and send that information out, whatever. There's a commercial reason why they would do that. But, I think hopefully there's value in sharing the data with the DMO so that, there's better decision making. And I just have a couple questions. So obviously things like the occupancy and the ADR, that's all just self-reporting from on a voluntary basis. And so
Yeah.
then you're extracting basically from that and the MRDT and trying to put that all together into some kind of like knowledge base around kind of what's going on in destination. Is that a fair way to kind of describe it?
Yeah, 100%. We rely absolutely on their willingness to
Yeah.
share that information, and also dedicating the time to do it.
Right. Yeah. That's a great use case for AI, by the way. Everything you just described is building a model around all of this and doing some extrapolation and everything else. So we could talk about that more, but I think there's good ways to use good AI tools to put all that together into something meaningful. So would you say right now you have a clear picture of who's visiting New Westminster, why they're visiting, how long they're visiting, or do you feel like there's still a bit of a sort of a guessing game and a bit of a sort of a
Yeah, we're working on it, but the sources of information that we are having access to are not enough to be
yeah.
able to put all that together and use it for a well put strategy. So, I mean, we have an idea, and a lot of that is built on perception.
And then when it comes to obviously the marketing aspect of what you guys do and your communications efforts to stakeholders, how do you feel? How are you currently measuring kind of the success of all that? And do you feel like you are measuring enough or you have a good enough sense of how well all of those efforts are sort of translating?
Well, we could always measure more. I think data is very powerful. Right now, we're using the metrics provided by the social media platforms, as well as the opening rate and clicking rate on newsletters, for example, and the website. Those are the three main ones, practically.
Yeah. And obviously, as a DMO, you're kind of like referring traffic to all of the different partners that are in destination from your website. So
Yeah,
that might be another
yeah,
sort of, but you don't actually know what happens at the end of that.
yeah. We don't
That
know if that
referral, yeah,
translates into actual purchases, or not all the platforms, not all the businesses that we have featured on our website are they don't offer spending opportunities on their websites. Maybe it's just information.
right. Yeah,
So
perfect.
that could translate into visitors making a reservation, into visitors buying something, but we cannot really track that.
Yeah,
At least not yet.
perfect. Yeah, no, that's helpful. That's helpful for sure. So some problems and some pain points that I think again AI could potentially help to try to resolve. It gets a little more complicated as we get off your website to other websites, but
Yeah.
regardless, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your organizational readiness now. This is a really important topic as well for kind of preparing for AI adoption. So first of all, can you tell me a little bit about the state of your internal data in terms of like your file systems, your context? Do you feel like, first of all, things like your file structure is very well organized? Your naming conventions, do you guys have naming conventions and rules for naming, and do you use them consistently? So just give me a bit of a flavor for all of that.
Okay, I'm gonna start just to give you an idea with one conversation we recently had with some of our board members, in which we even considered putting everything from before 2022 on a general archive. So anything that has not been used in the past 4 years, we don't plan to delete it, of course, but maybe we're just gonna archive it and
Hmm.
create a whole new category system and a file system for what we are actually using. Because so many people have put their hands on this information on these files in the past 10 years without that protocols, without those specific, I don't know, like strategies on what they're doing with the information, that we have all sorts of naming protocols, or we don't have any. That's the issue actually. So there are no protocols for anything. It's just like as we go. I have my own
Hmm.
that works for me, works for my head, and I know my team has their own, and right now it's working. But the thing there is, what happens when we leave the organization? What happens if any of us quits, gets fired, gets moved to another position? Um, the way we're organizing the information won't necessarily make sense to everyone. So
Yeah.
that's one pain point we're very aware of. It's just not a sexy thing to do or not a fun thing to do. So we know we have to sit down and
Yeah.
dedicate the time to create those protocols, to actually restructure all the information, to have it available, easy to find, both
Yeah.
in naming and the way the files are branched or organized.
Structured.
So anyone can find whatever they need
Yeah.
without knowing what it is. Because
And
what
I'll add actually kind of to your, you mentioned sort of if any of you leave, but what if you now unleash AI agents inside your workforce to be able to do work on your behalf? So this is why I asked the questions and, feel okay that nobody is organized and well structured almost when it comes to this. So, this is the biggest pain point.
that's why I didn't feel any shame in sharing that, because I know I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one, and trust me. And so this is the work for every organization right now on the planet getting prepared for AI, is making sure our files are structured properly, making sure we have naming conventions, making sure we have rules for how often we update documents, who can update documents, how we lock documents, how we archive documents. This is really important work because, the old garbage in, garbage out. If we unleash AI agents on garbage, guess what we're going to get on the out? We're going to get garbage out, right?
Yeah, of course, the AI won't be able to recognize what's valuable or what not. I mean, if it's in there, it's truth.
Exactly, exactly. So this is the work everybody has to do. So tell me a little bit more about things like, do you have, for example, written down brand guides, style guides,
Yes.
written down strategies and tactics, Sona? Do you have kind of like foundational documents about Westminster, about all your clients? Do these things exist kind
Yeah.
of in a written down format?
I'm gonna split it in two. On the one hand, we have all the, of course, bylaws, terms of reference for different committees, and everything that should be happening. It's on paper. And we have our policies, procurement policy, and many others. So all that's on paper. AI like helped us put a lot of that together, of course. And on the other side, we have on the marketing aspect, the planning aspect, the strategy for the organization. We do have a 5-year strategic plan with goals, objectives, tactics, strategic actions. We have an annual tactical plan that is required by the MRDT actually. So that one includes the same thing in a shorter period of time and more specific with budgets and with very specific timelines on how to accomplish it. We do have a marketing plan that is a bit outdated, but it's not outdated. It was made for a 2-year strategy. So strategically, or from the task perspective, it could be outdated or completed, depending on how you look at it. But on the analysis aspect, on defining personas, and target markets and communication strategies, all that is still valid. We have been adapting from it, but it's still valid in most cases. We do have our persona, we do have our branding guidelines. We actually have kits that we share with the industry partners, so they can also
Nice.
use our branding in the right way and promote the destination and their own businesses
Nice.
along with it. So that's all in place. But it's again, we're talking about a lot of independent elements that are not connected. They
Right.
are connected in spirit and in strategy, but not by a system.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So that's really where a lot of the heavy lifting needs to come in to actually make AI work, right? And so awesome that you have actually some of the foundations in place, because a lot of organizations don't even have that. So you're kind of a step ahead on that kind of stuff. So that's excellent stuff. And then how about obviously you guys are a pretty small team, so I would consider you to be an AI champion. Is everybody in your organization a bit of an AI champion? Do you have any resistance? Kind of give me a sense of the sentiment around adopting AI for your jobs.
Yeah, no, we don't have any resistance. Maybe not the same level of excitement on everyone, but we are all trying to adopt it. I'm the one pushing it, but my team is also happy to do it and excited to go and try and explore. So I think on that side we're good. We of course report to a board of volunteers, a board of directors, and I could see that there might be different approaches on how to introduce AI to the organization. No one's against it for what I've perceived, but I'm not sure everyone is as excited as we are in the team.
Yeah. Nice. All right. One more question. There's probably like, so normally we do this in two chunks. So we're kind of almost through the first chunk. It's a lot of questions, right? A lot of information we need because at the end of the day, to set you up for success, all of this foundational information is super important, right? But in the interest of time, I'm going to stop with one more question, which is if you basically can wave a magic wand right now and get AI to handle one part of your job starting tomorrow, what would that be?
Yeah, probably having all that structure of files, tasks, processes in place, and not only creating it, but making sure that everything keeps falling on the right point as we go.
Nice. So very, I like that. So I think you're a very sort of structure and process person as opposed to just a jump to the tool to get like the cheap help, quick hit fix. So that's good because that's helps us a little bit to understand in terms of kind of how to come in and assist you. Let's focus on the structure so that we can actually get the whole system doing the heavy lifting as opposed to just quick hits and quick wins, right? So yeah, no, that's awesome. Excellent. Well, thank you, Gerardo, for your time today. So again, that was just an example of the types of questions that we would take a DMO or a tourism operator through to really start to get a sense of where we're starting, to get a sense of where we need to put the effort in, right? And then also when we're doing AI adoption, there is sort of this, what I call the systems and processes part. So really what we focused on today was systems and processes. But at the same time as we're doing systems and processes, we also have a set of workshops that we do that are one-on-one or small teams that are hands-on training where we're actually helping you build AI systems, build tools, get better at using the tools, making sure you're really proficient with the out-of-the-box AI tools. And so both of those things come together eventually into our AI roadmap, right? So also when we're working with you on tools and we're actually like what we do is we give you the keys to the tool and we actually just coach you and watch you work, and that actually gives us a little bit of insights into the level of sort of technology comfort for you, your team members. And we've done this with many organizations, and sometimes it's you go from super savvy to barely know how to use a computer, but everybody in that sort of group at the end finds some way to get value out of the training, right? Because even if you don't barely know how to use a computer, the good news is that AI systems are pretty easy to use. If you just know how to use language and
Yeah,
how to
exactly.
be specific, right? It's pretty awesome.
Being able to ask, show me step by step.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully that gave everybody a little bit of an insights into our process. I'm going to actually take this, Gerardo, this recording, and I'll put it into a bit of a structured document for you so you can you get some value out of it as well. Because I
Awesome.
appreciate your time and I appreciate your openness and your sharing and your willingness to go through the process publicly, which not a lot of people are necessarily willing to do. So thank you very much.
No, of course, happy to help, and it's been great. I think a lot of insights are coming from this, and the most valuable part that an organization like yours can bring to DMOs is not only the adoption, but I think understanding what in which order to do it.
Yes.
So much information out there, so many platforms, and so many needs on our end.
Yeah,
Yeah, saying AI is like, yeah,
totally.
doing something.
Exactly.
You talk about doing something fun. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go dancing? Are you gonna go playing sports? So it's the same. The options are infinite. So
Exactly.
yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Excellent. Well, thanks. That's the end of our podcast today. And hopefully we can do a couple more of these in the future.
Absolutely.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you.
Bye.